Hey everyone, you're watching KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today is Thursday, which means we'll be looking ahead to the weekend to see any sort of weekend events and see what's going on around the area. Now, there's a lot of events this weekend that are giving away free school supplies like backpacks, notebooks, pencils and pens, anything related to school supplies as the back to school craze is starting to ramp back up. We are almost at the midpoint of July, midpoint of summer, so it's time for kids and parents to start gearing back up for school. And one of those events is actually the hashtag Fight For You Summer Soiree, which will be held on Saturday at Bill Cockrell Park. It's an all-day event that is packed full of different things to do for both parents and students. And those things include community fitness, which features a 5K run or walk. It has workouts, massages. There's a line dancing portion, which will encourage everybody to get up and moving. And if you're a parent who is not sure if you should bring your kids or not, don't worry. They'll have plenty of things to do throughout the day. They'll have a bounce house that'll be up all day for kids to play on, as well as kids' games that they can participate in and socialize with other students and just make friends. And another event that will also be held later in the day at the soiree is a pep rally that will feature student testimonials as well as health and education presentations to inform the public on current happenings in both health and education in the area. And at that point, the health fair and job fair will open up to that portion of the day, which will feature free screenings as well as resources needed to network with the area and find any sort of potential job opportunities, whether it's in health or education. And to close out the day, there will be a backpack giveaway for students, as well as a family fun finale, which will feature a DJ dance-off, as well as raffles throughout the day. And that is on Saturday. It will take place all day, essentially, starting at 7 a.m. and will conclude at 3 p.m. And another educational resource that you may find in Shreveport is Shreve Memorial Library's Color Our World event that's going on all throughout the month of July. The sessions featured several different workshops and classes regarding painting, pottery, and native wildlife. NBC's Dan and Jackie Jovic actually got to hear more about what the events entail.
Shreve Memorial Library's Color Our World reading event is happening all month. This morning they held a ceramic painting workshop at their North Caddo branch in Vivian.
It was taught by employees from the Shreveport Pottery Studio, the Clayground. The pieces were painted by hand and then fired at the Clayground before returning to the library for pickup. It's just one of several art events happening at all Shreve Memorial Library branches during July.
Other local artists come out and do beading workshops, painting workshops. In addition, we have our friends from Steve Snakeshuary and Walter B. Jacobs. They've come out and brought some of their animal friends to the library. We've had writing workshops. We've had puppet shows. We've had a ton of activities for all ages to get everyone encouraged in reading this summer.
Now, supporting local artists, especially in our area, is super important. It not only allows them to express their creative freedom, but also bring a different aspect of whether it be art, film, music, anything that people might enjoy. It brings a sort of personal aspect into that form of entertainment. And one is no more important to me than the film industry in Shreveport, which is such a big thing. I did not realize before moving up here that it was such a huge thing in Shreveport. It is referred to as Hollywood South by a lot of people that are in the film industry. It has the Louisiana Film Prize, which offers the largest cash prize to an independent filmmaker in the world, which is insane. It not only supports the films that the people make, but it also goes to the crew members, the producers, It supports everyone involved on the projects and on the sets, which can make a huge difference because making films is not cheap. It is a very expensive endeavor that you have to account for so many different things. There's so many moving parts, and it costs a lot of time, energy, planning, money. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's a ton of people that work on each individual film that deserve all the credit. Without them, without every single moving part, the film would not get made. So it's very important that we support these local filmmakers, that they can achieve these bigger budget films and foresee their full creative vision, if you will. And one local film in particular, which is called The Twin, is having its red carpet debut tonight in Shreveport at the Strand Theater. The film originally started as a short film at the Louisiana Film Prize back in 2016, and the writing process took about 6 years, according to director Colby Doler, and they have finally vamped it into a full-fledged feature-length film. And Colby was actually in our studio and sat down with Susan Curtin to talk more about the film.
So The Twin is a feature horror film shot here in Shreveport, and it's about a father who's struggling after the death of his son, and he becomes haunted by a demon known in Irish folklore as a fetch, which was the original title of the film, but now it is The Twin. And so, yeah, we're premiering it here in Shreveport on July 10th.
That is very exciting. You can go. It's going to be at 7 p.m. at the Strand. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to their website and purchase them. We've got all ours lined up in a row, so we're ready to go. So this was the original idea for this was a short that you made called Hangman.
Yes, we shot it for the Film Prize in 2016, and it did really well. People loved it, and we thought, well, we could make something longer out of this. And then 6 years later, we finished the writing process.
Yeah.
And we started shooting it in October of 2022, and then 3 years later, we're done with the film.
It's amazing because horror is one of those genres that everybody will see whether or not there is a star attached to the film. They love horror just as a genre. However, you do have some major stars attached to this film.
Yeah, we have some good stars. Alexa Palladino is one of our leads, and she's in like Boardwalk Empire. She was recently in The Penguin.
Right.
You can see her in that. And then Robert Longstreet, he's a Mike Flanagan staple. So if you've ever seen The Haunting of Hill House or Midnight Mass, and so we have some horror staples in our film. And then Shannon Cochran, who was in The Ring, and she also played Pam's mom in The Office.
Right.
So yeah, we have some good actors, and they really make the film much better because they are so talented.
Yeah, so talented, so professional. And then we also have a wonderful group of local and regional actors and film crew people that you can bring together, and you used a great many of them on this film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had a crew of almost 40 people, and it was 95% of them were all local. We brought in everyone we could from Shreveport, Bossier, Northwest Louisiana, and you know it's a homegrown film as much as possible. It was written here, it was filmed here, it was post-production was done here, and we're showing it here.
I cannot wait to see that film tonight. I think it's going to be amazing. Based on the trailer, which we can show you right now, you're going to want to check this out.
Grandma, please.
Doctor, I don't understand why this is necessary.
You just finished a 1-month stint in an institution. It's state law that you're monitored.
I'm not crazy. I've been seeing things.
Who's there? What things?
Me.
Do you know anything about his childhood?
The night his grandmother died, he pounded at my door like something was after him.
I have to-dos for you while you're here to keep you occupied. Your grandmother's portraits and the family.
Can't tell what's real anymore.
Let's try something different. Focus on the sound. What's happening to me? Nick read this story as a child. The sight of your fetch
Evil twin.
is an omen for coming death.
Wow, like that, I am so excited for that. As you can tell, it looks so thrilling. I'm a huge fan of horror stuff. Not so much the cheesy jump scare tropes, but I am very interested to see this version of the evil twin trope. And that should be super exciting. And if you are wondering, since I talked about how Shreveport is such a huge beacon for local filmmakers, and you yourself are wanting to maybe get into that industry, look no further than this weekend where the Robinson Film Center is hosting a film industry meetup with local directors, actors, crew members, producers. Anyone who's been on a set will most likely be there, and they can provide tips to getting your foot in the door and networking with other people who are making films, so that whenever they are in production, you'll get that call and say, hey, can you come work on this film with us? We would love to have you, even as an extra. There's been so many local directors and even actors who started as just normal crew members or extras in film that worked their way up to star in lead roles even. So this is a huge opportunity for people in Shreveport to meet up and network with these people. And that will be held at the Robinson Film Center this Saturday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Susan Curtin from NBC actually spoke with the Shreveport Film Commissioner, Wade Marshall, to tell us more.
Well, this is our second time we've done this year. This is our film industry meetup. And what this is a conglomerate of people that have worked in the industry, have been here, and professionals that have training programs, all kinds of people that the movers and shakers here in town. And we also invite everybody to come that have no clue about the film industry and want to get tapped in. And this is an all ages event. We encourage people to bring their kids, and we figure out how to get them on set and into acting classes, those kind of things. So.
Well, even if you're a professional and you know everybody, it always helps to just go and get connected and stay plugged into what's happening right now, what's coming up in the future, so that you can be thinking about that. But if you've never done anything before, this is an excellent opportunity, as you said, to just meet some of the people who are doing this work in our community.
Yeah, and what's important is that, we try to tell everyone that we can place you into things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
A lot of these film productions and a lot of these training classes, all that kind of stuff, you don't need any experience.
Right.
We can start you right away with, getting you on in this pipeline that we're building here.
Right. So it is a pipeline, and it's all about connections and relationships, and we have a very tight-knit film community here of people who help each other out. I think it's really just one of the most friendly, open environments that you can join.
Yeah, you always hear us say film family, right? And it really is. I mean, we are a group of people that all kind of go to each project together. We help each other out. We make sure that everybody's working as much as we can.
Yeah.
And I love that about our community here.
And this is a great resource, like I said, if you're looking to get in the industry or even are just a fan of film in general. As I said before, I'm a huge movie fan. I recently got into movies. I wasn't always the huge fan I am now, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I really started getting into it back when I was in New Orleans. The AMC theaters there had their A-list subscription where you could see 3 movies per week. So whenever I was bored or got off of work, I would just go to the movies and just would see whatever I thought was interesting that day. And that's how I was able to keep up with the movies that were coming out and keeping track of award season. I know the Robinson Film Center held their Oscars 101 event earlier this year to kind of educate people about the voting process and how movies are selected to be nominated for all of these awards, and which specific awards that they look at in terms of watching the movie and what aspect to nominate them for, such as editing or original score or cinematography, which are all very important to me. That's what I personally value when watching a movie. I usually pay particular attention to the way it's shot with the cinematography, and I'm a huge nerd when it comes to the soundtracks and the original score of movies. I think the music and the score of a movie can just lift up a scene depending on the tone of it and the tone of the music as well. I think they go hand in hand. When you think of some of the best soundtracks of all time, you usually think of super important scenes, and it's usually the climax of the film that will stick with you forever, and that is a huge reason, or a huge part of that is the soundtrack and the score that is lifting up that scene and making it so memorable. But if you're looking to do more at the Robinson Film Center, next week they're having a rosé wine tasting, which will be hosted by sommelier Pamela Brown. And while you're tasting different wines and rosés, you can have complimentary hors d'oeuvres from Chef Nima at Abby Singer's Bistro, which, if you're not familiar, Chef Nima beat Bobby Flay on the Food Network, and she's been honored by the city I don't know how many times now. She's become a local legend, essentially, and that is huge to see. She is such a great person, and she obviously makes some of the best food in the area, or even the state for that matter, with all these honors and awards. You won't want to miss that if you're a wine lover. I personally have dabbled into that scene a little bit. I used to work at Total Wine, and we would do tastings all the time. So have a foundational knowledge of wine and different types and what pairings go with which, and the notes that you can smell whenever you're tasting a wine. It's a very fun experience, so I highly recommend it for anyone who is a wine fan or just looking to get more into it and learn more about the different types of wines so you can impress your friends at dinner or any sort of event that is serving wine. And another thing that is releasing technically today with the previews, but the official release is tomorrow. Like I said earlier, is DC Superman. I told y'all that I would give my thoughts on it earlier this week on Tech Tuesday, and I gotta say, it was incredible. As a huge Superman fan, it had me smiling like pretty much the entire time. It was just such a memorable movie. I can't say enough about it. James Gunn, who directs it, he just gets it, as well as David Cornsweet, who stars as the titular character. They just understand the character. There's so many comic book references that they pulled from to do justice to the source material. And if you're a superhero fan, you don't even have to be a Superman fan. If you're a superhero fan in general, I know that the MCU is huge. It's been a massive thing for the past almost 2 decades. But if you're a superhero fan in any form, I promise you're not going to want to miss this. It is just such an uplifting and feel-good movie, and one that I personally think that the world needs right now, that is full of hope and optimism. It is just such a wild ride, and it is an exciting start to the new DCU. I'm very, very excited to get to know more about these characters and hopefully see them in more iterations in the future. I know that some of the characters in Superman are already confirmed to be in the newest season of Peacemaker, which debuts next month in August on HBO Max. I'll be looking forward to that one. Peacemaker Season 1 was such a blast, such a fun time. It's a very unconventional TV show with a lot of comedy, but also a lot of heart. And if you've seen James Gunn's older movie, The Suicide Squad, it is in the same breadth and tone and style of that one, obviously. because Peacemaker also is in that movie. So the violence is pretty over the top, but it's done in a funny and cool way. It's not distasteful by any means, in my opinion. But the Peacemaker show itself follows that formula, but it also adds a surprising amount of heart. There's so much emotion in this show, and I can't wait to spend more time with that character as well as the other characters that are supporting the show. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this weekend. If you guys have any events that you're looking forward to that you would want me to cover or talk more about, I would love any sort of feedback that you would give me about the show. If you want to see a particular thing or another thing done a certain way, I would open any and all feedback. You can catch all of our older shows like Tech Tuesday on our YouTube page at KTAL News. And also, I will be recapping all of the shows in the article that is posted every day. You could scroll down and see all of our shows from the week, as well as the topics that were covered. You can catch us on KTAL News Now every day, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin, and thank you for joining us.